Yo, what up? What up? What's going on, everyone? What up, Digital? What up, Turi? Fingers crossed. Turi says, hoping for good internet today. I freaking know. Honestly, worst comes to worst, maybe it won't be a bad thing if it goes out today, because if it does, it'll be my push to finally switch to AT&T fiber. You know? There's always a good thing if it comes out of a bad thing. Hopefully, it doesn't happen. And I had some guy come out yesterday from Comcast and just work on the network, and I was showing him like my ping was insane. I had like really bad network latency and stability. He did like little something, I don't know. I was working the whole time while he was doing his thing outside, but he said supposedly that he may have resolved the issue, so we'll see. Although I asked him what he did to resolve the issue, and he didn't give me a lot of confidence. It seemed like he was just ready to leave because he had been here for like 2 hours or whatever. Oh, I opened Legends of Runeterra. I gotta open Wild Rift. There we go. Okay. So I did finish the article though. Arcane Season 3, the brutal Demacian Civil War explained. So we're gonna go through that. And then of course we still got the where is it? Riot Genshin style RPG leaks point to a new open world adventure. I want to know, would you guys play a Genshin Impact style Legends of like Runeterra world? I've never played Genshin Impact, so I don't know anything about it. Let's do an Ascended Oasis for Genshin Impact style ARPG. We could even do Piltover. I always like the Piltover one. I don't know. I mean, I looked at Genshin Impact. I tried to look up some stuff and see, you know, what I thought about it. The game is freaking pretty. The game is very pretty. Like, if I pull up Genshin Impact right now, I got a couple of videos in here. But let's go through the leak, and then we'll discuss, you know, what do you think about the game? I looked up some pros and cons. They're not my opinions. So in this article, these are opinions that I've noticed online. So I looked on Reddit. I looked online, a bunch of different articles of people saying, like, is Genshin Impact worth playing? And this is what people said are good and bad. So that's what you're going to see. Because I don't have any personal opinions on it. Although I did download it on my phone, and the file's freaking massive. I was like, oh, I'll download it. Maybe I'll play through it tonight. I didn't have time. Let's pull up. Who do I want for this? For Genshin Impact, maybe Annie. That seems pretty like, you know, the little girl trope for Genshin Impact. Not a fan of Genshin. I guess it's just a solo co-op open world ARPG type game. I don't really want to explore the world unless it's the MMO, to be honest. Yeah. I haven't heard good things about Genshin Impact, so and it's being developed by basically it's really going to be Tencent that makes it, not so much Riot Games. And so I don't know. Everyone always complains about the gacha and Wild Rift. I'm going to be honest, I think Wild Rift is a great game. Yo, what up, individual? I think Wild Rift itself is a great game. And I think it's not, everyone always complains about the gacha, but really you have all the champions unlocked off the bat. Like if I go here, every single champion is unlocked and playable, I think. I remember you just don't have all the skins. That's the one thing that you don't have. But like you can play any champion you want. There's no like pay to win features at all. I don't know. In terms of like an mobile MOBA, I don't think there's anything better than Wild Rift. In a lot of ways, it's better than League of Legends. All right, let's get into this. Riot's Genshin-style RPG leaks point to a new open-world adventure, and I want to know if you guys would play it. It's Genshin. Do you play Genshin Impact? Would you play Genshin Impact if it was set in Runeterra? Let's find out. A leak, a new Runeterra adventure, a series of startling claims from X, formerly Twitter account WR Uzbeks, citing an unofficial Tencent source, has ignited speculation about Riot Games' next major project. The leak suggests a new open-world MMORPG is in the works, directly comparing its style to massively popular game Genshin Impact. Oh my god, thank you at Riot Games. From unofficial Tencent source, real confirmation. Source, trust me, bro. A League of Legends PC new map and launcher is coming in 2026. A League of Legends Wild Rift map update is coming in 2026. And the new game, open world MMORPG like Genshin Impact, development launch October 2025. So this game, I guess, development launched in October 2025. And then maybe we'll get like some kind of announcement for it. I looked at this guy's account. It just says news and insider updates on the game Wild Rift, information about PvE and new heroes in the game, Wild Rift community from Uzbekistan. So he's focused on Wild Rift, which makes more sense that he would be like looking at the Tencent stuff more than we would. Well, I went back to his like old posts and I didn't see anything where like he, you know, got a leak or something like that. Well, it's confirmation. I mean, I don't know. I scrolled through his old stuff and I was looking for something that said this guy's like got an insider knowledge. He does do leaks like all the time, but it's mostly just news and posts about Wild Rift. Because he's literally Wild Rift Uzbeks. Wild Rift, that's what he covers, right? Uzbekistan. That's why it's WR Uzbeks. I like Wild Rift. I think Mobile Legend Bang Bang is better. Face Blue. Mobile. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty good. Oh, my nose today. I think Mobile Legends Bang Bang is better. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a decent game. Honestly, I played Wild Rift a few times. I especially played it when the Callista's Odyssey event came out, and I thought it was all right. I had no complaints. I feel like League of Legends is a little bit gacha as well, right? At the end of the day, they're selling skins, and you don't even have all the champions unlocked. But the games are good. That's the most important thing. Is League of Legends fun to play? I would say after playing it for being a Runeterra lore creator for 3 years now, and playing League of Legends for about 20 games in just the recent last couple of days, I would say League of Legends is pretty fun. And Wild Rift is about the same, but I'd say the gameplay is actually fun. Dear player, this information is reliable, but unfortunately I can't say who gave it to me. You know why. Last year, Riot investigated leaks and closed down some insiders who shared unofficial information, but I am sure that that information is 100% reliable. Until there is additional information, I was asked not to rush to tell some moments, since we have to wait for official teasers from the company itself. Dear player, the new game is not Project F. Project F is frozen. The director was fired of Project F in 2024. Many thought that this refers to Project F. No, this is a new project. So whether Project F is still in development or not, we don't know. We know the director, I guess, was fired in 2024. But there's no, like, I mean, he's not giving any sources, which I guess he can't. He's saying he's not allowed to. This could just be for the clicks, or it could be true. I mean, would you play a new Genshin Impact style MMORPG? What about Project F? The leak immediately drew comparison to Project F, an ARPG prototype Riot teased during a 10th anniversary celebration in 2019. However, the source was quick to clarify that this is an entirely separate project. The statement, if true, marks a significant shift in Riot's development pipeline. Project F was envisioned as a top-down co-op ARPG, akin to games like Diablo series. The new leak suggests a move towards a third-person open-world format, representing a completely different genre and scope. The alleged freezing... I'm going to air quote this, guys. This is a lot of trust me bro sourcing. The alleged freezing of Project F and the firing of its director in 2024 indicates a potential pivot in Riot's strategy for expanding the Runeterra universe into a new game genre. So the comparison to Genshin Impact is the most revealing part of the leak. Genshin Impact launched in September 2020 and became a global phenomenon by blending several key elements. If Riot is following this model, we can speculate on what their new Runeterra RPG might entail. I mean, one thing about Genshin Impact is it's pretty. It's a pretty game.
Windborn Outlander, as you set off on your journey once again,
That's pretty.
you must remember that the journey itself has meaning.
We can't say it's not, guys. We can't say it's not. It's a good-looking game. Yeah, you know what it reminds me a lot of? Pokemon. And I'm a big Pokemon fan. You guys probably don't know that about me. Like, I play all the Pokemon games on the Switch. To that Moltres flying over.
Venti, the bard that sits around doing nothing all day?
They have a bard
He was
class.
once such a gentle child, now so full of rage and suffering.
Yeah. This is like, I think they get into the game.
Let's dance!
This is just like a trailer.
I swear by my sword. With sword comes shadow.
Okay. Well, you get an idea of how the game looks. That's how it looks. And it doesn't look bad. I'll say that. But there is like a double-sided piece here. The key features of Genshin style game include a vast open world. You could see that. The core game appeal is massive. A massive, beautifully stylized world weapon exploration. If I could see Runeterra like that, I would play it. If they come out, I'm so hungry for exploring Runeterra, especially after Riot Forge closed. Man, do I miss Riot Forge. Especially after Riot Forge closed, it's like I need something that's Runeterra where I can explore the world and like see things and see the characters and like walk around, you know, Runeterra itself. They have Venti from effing Starbucks. They do. I never, you know what? The sizes, man. What are the Starbucks sizes, guys? Starbucks sizes. There's like Venti, Latte, Grande. They all mean large. Tall. Tall is large. Grande is large. Venti is large. They're just large in different languages. Why are you confusing me like this, Starbucks? I don't think I get Starbucks enough to know. I always tell the person, can I get a medium? They get pissed. Honestly, not having a more newbie-friendly game other than League for the Arcane fans to get into after the show was a huge blunder on Riot's part. Might be trying to rectify that now with MMO, 2xKO, etc. Yeah, I'm when it comes to like the Arcane fans, I do believe that like there was nothing for them to do post Arcane, and I don't think Riot knew how successful it was going to be. Riot had no idea how successful Arcane was going to be until it came out. I don't think they were expecting to win awards, you know? But then it just took off, and it brought a whole new wave of fans into the world of Runeterra that know absolutely nothing about it, smacked them in the face with Piltover and Zon, and it's like, oh wait, this is a games company, not a Riot. Man, sometimes people, I always see the meme that Riot just makes music videos and media, but not actually, they make games on the side or whatever. Venti is $20. Yeah, I definitely don't get that one. My wife is more like the Starbucks drinker. I just drink black coffee every morning. I've got a machine, and I think Tim Hortons coffee is pretty good. That's usually as far as I go. But so it's a live action RPG combat. Genshin features real-time action combat based party swapping mechanic built around elemental synergies. A Runeterra version could adapt that unique abilities of iconic champions into similar systems. So action combat, I think, is going to be a thing in MMO, and it should be a thing here since Genshin Impact style. And I think you want a balance between action combat and tab targeting. I don't want everything action combat, okay? I don't want to be aiming a freaking wand. But some things should be to make the game engaging. Gacha monetization. This is the most controversial aspect. Genshin's revenue is driven by a gacha system, where players spend currency, free or paid, for a random chance to obtain new characters and powerful weapons. So it's literally pay to win. Cross-platform availability. Genshin Impact is available on PC, mobile, PlayStation, a strategy that has massively expanded its reach. Riot has already found success with the mobiles in game like Wild Rift and Teamfight Tactics. So I think multi-platform is a good thing. It just can't hinder the game's play style. So you should focus on PC first. Even the Riot MMO, focus on PC first, and then adapt it to like Xbox and PlayStation and all this other stuff. Because I don't want to see the game held back in terms of like, so it's action combat. Obviously, a player on PlayStation is not going to be able to aim as good as a person with a mouse. Okay, it's not going to happen, no matter how good you are. You could argue for, like the gyro controls on the Switch. I think that's as close as you can get to an actual mouse in terms of, being able to compete with a mouse player. But most of the time, it's not going to be the same, especially if they're just playing with the joysticks. But you can't degrade the action combat because it's going to be on PlayStation and Xbox and whatnot. I don't know if Genshin Impact does this. I'd hope they don't. And I hope that, you know, if they're going to do something like that where it's cross-platform, that they focus on PC first. And then if they need to like privatize the mobile and console players, then that's what that should happen. This is, I think, this is a gameplay trailer. So we can actually see like how Genshin Impact looks gameplay-wise.
Hey, there's something strange over there. Come on, let's take a look.
That reminds me of Zelda, Link, like Breath of the Wild a lot. I like Breath of the Wild series. That reminds me of Breath of the Wild a lot. Jeez. Man, did they just rip off Breath of the Wild in a lot of ways for this game? The trailer looked like Pokemon. This looks like Breath of the Wild. Oh, but it's pretty. Oh, but it's. I mean, I'd play just to see Runeterra realized in this like style.
I deal in death. If you cannot bring yourself to kill, speak my name.
What is this disturbance to which I awaken?
That's a freaking awesome model.
Think you can get away?
There's like some of the action combos he's aiming his shots.
Time for takeoff!
I mean, I would play it. Screw it. I mean, I'd play it. I'm gonna be real. I'd freaking play it, guys. And that's just because I'm so hungry for like exploring the world of Runeterra. Do you want the MMO to be tab targeting or action? Oh, well, I answered that. We were both on the same thought process, I think, digital there, yeah. I want like a combination. I don't think everything should be action combat, and I don't think everything should be tab targeting. Because I think action combat does bring something to the game, especially in PvP. But at the same time, I don't want to be freaking aiming every single ability. Like sometimes it's nice to have some abilities that just I'm clicking on you and shooting. And I think League of Legends has like a combination, right? Some abilities are tab and some abilities are action combat. So a little of both. Adopting Genshin Impact formula offers a tremendous potential, but also comes with significant risks, especially regarding its monetization strategy. There's potential pros, potential cons. A living Runeterra, the chance to explore a stunning open world version of Runeterra. That's what's selling me alone. This one potential pro is all I need. Free to play. The Riot MMO is going to be free to play. This game being free to play does open it up to a wider player base. The gameplay loop, the cycle of exploration, combat, and character progression is highly addictive and could keep players engaged. This is what someone said on Reddit. Deep RPG system, as one reviewer noted about Genshin, it offers a deep RPG system and tons of free content. So that's another. These are Reddit. Like when I was looking up, I was just searching like people reviewing Genshin Impact. These are the comments people were saying. These are the same thing about the potential cons. Predatory gacha system. The gacha mechanics are often criticized in the West. One user review for Genshin states it's really difficult to get all the characters you want unless you invest really much time in the game or spend money on it. This could alienate players accustomed to Riot's more cosmetic-focused monetization. And I think if Riot does make a Genshin Impact style Runeterra-based game, I don't think you're gonna have this. Riot has never been pay to win. That's one thing we can talk about Riot, how much they're selling skins, right? How much skins cost at the end of the day, all this stuff. But Riot has always been good with never making a game pay to win. And I think if Riot did a Genshin Impact style MMORPG, not for us in the West, but you know, for the East, which is who even Wild Rift, that's who it's targeted for. It wouldn't be pay to win. The story aspect of the game is where my concerns lie. Genshin and most gacha games aren't exactly known for their story quality, especially early on. Yeah, well, hopefully Riot takes like the Genshin Impact overall style, right, being a mobile MMORPG, and then makes it Riot quality. I think at the end of the day, the Riot name is going to be attached to this. They're not going to release it if it's not up to par with the other titles. No, Riot has never released a bad game. And if a game is bad, Riot's got no problem just freaking gutting it and throwing it in the trash. We've seen them do that. Like, we cover news, all the Riot Games news. So how many times have we announced a project and it just gets tossed aside, right? So I think at the end of the day, if it's going to be a Riot Games, it won't be pay to win, and it will have like it won't be. It'll have like the cosmetic shop is what it's going to be. That's what they always do. It's just going to be cosmetics. Frustrating grind. Open world RPGs often require significant grinding for materials and gear. Genshin resin system, which limits daily rewards, is a common point of frustration the Riot would need to navigate carefully. So this is that's what people are talking about online on the grind of the game, which honestly leads into the pay to win. Like, it basically make you grind so much that you have to pay money. Unfinished narrative. So you were talking about that, and I did see people talking about the narrative, and then it's repetitive end game. I think a little grind is good in MMO. I kind of like the grind on some things, but supposedly this one has like a very repetitive gameplay style, and without steady flow of new content, the daily and weekly tasks in such games can become formulaic and boring. So the road ahead, if this leak is accurate, again, source, trust me, bro, Wild Rift, Uzbekistan, saying that there's a League of Legends Wild Rift map update coming in 2026, a map and launcher, and that there's a Genshin Impact style game that started being developed in October 2025. We can speculate on the release date too, but if the development launched in October 25 means the project is still in a relatively early stage, full-scale development is a lengthy process, so a public release is likely still many years away. It's plausible we might not see this game until 2028 or later. The prospect of exploring Runeterra in an open-world setting is incredibly exciting. However, like Genshin Impact comparison, brings with it a looming question of monetization. And I think Riot will end up just selling cosmetics. Whether Riot can safely adapt the model for a Western audience or create a more player-friendly alternative will be one of the biggest challenges for this ambitious new project. For now, the community can only watch and wait for official teasers, which the leaker suggests are on the horizon. And this is just like
we had no time to say goodbye.
Let's see this. What is this?
So let's not call it that.
The story aspect of the game
war
is where
has
the
already
concern
begun.
lies. Yeah.
It is just a continuation of past battles.
It's it was about Rise's
The
journey
gods
or
built us
Ezreal's. I
on
probably
with the
played. Yeah, it's
promise
like
of their 7 treasures, rewards for the worthy, the doorway to divinity.
imagine this being like
Yet
Runeterra lore.
buried in the depths of this world lies smoldering remains.
Like him
a
talking
warning
about the
to those
ruination or
that dare
something.
Trespass. That throne in the sky
Viego
is not
and Isolde.
reserved for you. But mortal
Oh my
arrogation
gosh.
never
I just thought of this being Viego and this being Isolde, but in like this, you know, Eastern anime style look. It'd be kind of funny.
stops. None will escape the flames. See for yourself.
What is this voice? I've heard this voice before. This sounds like a voice actor. So I watch a lot of anime, especially. I like dubbed. People get mad at me for that. I like dubbed anime. Okay, I don't want to read during my
Never
anime.
stops.
But this guy sounds familiar.
None will escape the flames.
Is this freaking Sasuke? Is this Sasuke? Am I tripping?
See
Listen
for
and think of
yourself.
Sasuke. Uchiha.
The dragon who defended
That's
Mondstadt
Sasuke.
for a millennium.
I got it. That's
finally
for sure
faces his
Sasuke.
perturbation.
Oh, Sasuke Uchiha, bro. Where you
What
been?
does freedom really mean when demanded of you by a god?
Has to be
The
Sasuke.
god of contracts, senselessly slaughtered as his people watched on in horror. In the end, he will sign the contract to end all contract. With no love left for her people, we will defy this world with a power from beyond.
Okay.
Now, you will set foot in this world.
I want to see
Your
the world a
journey
little
has
bit.
reached its end, but one final doorway
Oh, they don't
remains.
show the world. They just show like you know, him or whatever doing some stuff. Okay. Well, I would say honestly, if I'd speculate on a release, it's gonna be like 2028. It's not gonna take as long as the MMO to develop, which has been a long time, but I think it'd be 2028, maybe right before the MMO. Something to play before, guys. That's what I'll think about it. And if I do play it, I'm gonna play it strictly for the story. No, this cannot be. Everyone judge him. And I have so many friends that judge me for watching dub. Like the sub is so much better, the voice actors. As someone who loves to read, I love to read. Okay, that's how I got into Runeterra lore. As I just started reading, I worked in a freaking library for years. At the same time, when I'm watching TV, I want to watch. You know, I want to be able to look at everything going on. I feel like when it's sub, I end up just reading the text the whole time. I'm not watching the show. So I miss all the cool stuff. No, everyone judging. Hi, bro. I come already. What's news about League Genshin style game? It's just so sources, trust me, bro. This guy, Wild Rift Uzbekistan, put out a tweet that says Riot Games from official Tencent source, real confirmation. This says League of Legends PC new map and launcher, League of Legends Wild Rift map update, and the new game open world MMORPG like Genshin Impact is development launched in October 2025, which means the game will probably come out in like 2028. Maybe we'll get news. It's possible, maybe some news in like 2026, 2027, but the game's not gonna be released for a while. Interestingly, there's a Genshin anime in the works by the same studio who makes Demon Slayer. Imagine League of Legends anime one day. Oh, don't get me started. I just watched Demon Slayer all over again. I just watched the whole thing because I wish I could go to the movies and watch the new one. There's like a movie that came out for Demon Slayer. But yeah, Tanjiro, I love Demon Slayer. Yeah, it's one of my favorite animes. If I had to go my favorite animes, I'd say you got One Piece, Demon Slayer, Naruto Shippuden, Attack on Titan, and is there a fifth one that's like my favorite animes of all time? I think that's it. I would stop there. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Those are my favorites. And I'm watching One Piece on like Netflix. They just released the Zou arc, and I watch every single episode, including the filler. So I'm at like episode 750 something. It just takes me a long time because I only get to watch like when it's time for sleep and laying down in bed. That's when I'll watch. Yep. I would be interested, honestly, in an anime set in Runeterra. I would freaking watch. All right, guys. Arcane Season 3. We have confirmed already. If you haven't seen that, you know, go back to, if you're on YouTube, my previous video. If you're looking at like the articles, I'll link to this as well. This is the Demacia in the spotlight. We know that Demacia is pretty likely next, honestly, with the Katarina hint. I'll play these really quick just to remind you guys, a little refresher.
And watch.
It's pretty quiet.
Katarina, we have a whole backstory that I won't get too far into because there's some things there.
So clearly Katarina has a future at Fortiche. This is a Riot Games and Fortiche storytelling League of Legends. This guy on the right is from Fortiche, as is the lady in the middle. The guy on the left is from Riot Games. And so clearly Katarina has something to do with Fortiche. And then this was a little slip of the tongue.
What about like cutting the music? Because we wanted to emphasize so much on the fight, this epic fight between Darren and Darius.
So he says, instead, he's supposed to be talking about Trundle and Darius. Instead, he says Garen and Darius. So it's interesting that Garen and Darius are on his mind. Katarina apparently has a big part to play in the story Fortiche is telling. We know that Fortiche is going to be telling stories in...
I'll give you a little something, because someone says, give us a hint on the next show.
This was the literal co-creator of Arcane saying what's coming next. Okay. Oh, I expanded it. I don't want to do that. I just want to show you guys. It's more about what they're saying.
Just because I want to make sure that
there are expectations.
So I'll tell you this.
Okay.
I'll tell you this. When I looked at there was like 2 or 3 bigger threads on Reddit when people were like, oh, like they're gonna do more shows, more movies. What would be the focal points, right? Pretty much all the like top voted directions are the ones.
This is what he says here.
Okay, so we are investing quite a bit in Noxus, Ionia, Demacia.
Look at his reaction to Demacia, man. Does he have insider information? I kept saying that. I don't know.
Okay.
He might, guys. Look, I just don't. The Netcrit really reacted when he said Demacia differently than when he said Noxus and Ionia. So I don't know if he like has someone maybe told him like we're working on Demacia, but he's not allowed to say anything. But then I said, you know, Noxus already got its time in the spotlight. They worked on Noxus, a Fortiche cinematic, the bite marks. This is also a Fortiche cinematic. You see Xin Zhao at the end. And then things are just lining up. There's also a live action in Bilgewater. This is different. This is a continuation of the animated series Arcane. In tandem to that, they're also working on a live action in Bilgewater, separate from Fortiche. Fortiche is an animation studio. They're not involved in the live action. If it really does launch in October, it's possible that it will coincide with the League of Legends Worlds 2025, which this year will be held in Shanghai, China. Hey, if it launches, maybe well, that's development launch. It'd be insane if they launch it in 1 year. Unless it's like much easier to develop and it's, I don't know, 1 year seems insane. Unless like we need to start shifting more work over to this Shanghai studio because that's nuts. Switching stuff more over to Tencent. But yeah, that would be crazy. And that's true. The Worlds, yeah. If League of Legends Worlds held in 2025, China, that'd be like a massive announcement. So that would be pretty crazy. Man. Yo, hey guys. Yo, what up, Como? So at this point, I think we can all agree that Demacia is very likely next. So, what would the Arcane Season 3 Demacia lore look like? Echoes of Arcane. Why a Demacia series is the perfect successor to Arcane. After the masterpiece that was Arcane, which brought the dual cities of Piltover and Zon to life, which with breathtaking depth, fans have been speculating which corner of Runeterra deserves the same treatment. The answer may lie in the gleaming white stone kingdom of Demacia, a nation founded on ideals of justice and honor, now teetering on the brink of civil war. I love these arts from this from the Realms of Runeterra book. This is Demacia. This is where Demacia is located, and Demacia is not a land of steampunk innovation like we saw in Piltover and Zon, but of old world politics. It's really stark. Between going from Piltover to Zon to Demacia is like traveling back in time in a lot of ways. There's a simmering rebellion, a deep-seated hypocrisy, and its story is a powder keg of personal drama and political intrigue, making it the perfect setting for a multi-season narrative that starts with intimate character struggles and explodes into a realm-spanning conflict. There's just some places. There's like the Hall of Valor, where fallen Demacian warriors are remembered for their sacrifice. And this is a landmark. This is a Demacian like wallpaper background for their the cover page. Here's some art from Legends of Runeterra. The first time she saw the altar of Cithria, Cithria found herself at a loss for words. For a while, she could only stand in awe of the majesty of those honored heroes. Would she ever be bold enough to stand by their side? And you can see this place here. These are just some locations. There's an altar. This one is the Mage Seeker's Place Towered Petricite. This is a Petricite obelisk. Throughout their compounds, ensuring that even the strongest mages are rendered completely powerless. And that's what Petricite does. It's a magic dampener. And this is like showing one of the Crown Guards, Tiana Crown Guard, facing an army here. Tiana looked out over the assembly, assessing the gathered ranks. The only sound in the square was her banner snapping in the breeze. She gave a curt nod of approval, then lifted the banner with a shout. Who among you is ready to fight for Demacia? The resounding cry from all those assembled shook the very mountain. So that's like kind of giving you a vibe of Demacia. I just uploaded my first video after a year to my YouTube. Still not great at acting in front of a camera, but one day I hope to be a creator like Endcrow. I've got such a long way to go, but I'll say this: YouTube is like a marathon, not a sprint. You know, it's a long road. Just keep. The hardest thing is to keep like going live or to keep publishing. So, and accepting that your video is never going to be perfect. Like my first video, we can go over that with you guys another time. But my first video was complete trash. I'll show you it for a second. Here. Feel free to laugh at me in my first video. How bad it was. Pretty sure I call, in my first video, I call Ishtal Ixtal. Yeah, which pissed a lot of people off. Yeah, this is gonna be horrible quality.
Hello, and welcome to the first in a series of videos
Oh,
where
yeah.
we'll be exploring both the people and the places of Runeterra.
Painful.
Runeterra, meaning magic earth, is a plane of existence composed of the physical realm.
I went for like a
an
biography.
oblate spheroid planet, and the spirit realm. The first place we will be exploring is Ixtal.
Oh, wait.
Ixtal is located here at the bottom of the map.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Renowned for its mastery of elemental
Oh my
magic,
gosh.
Ixtal
I call
was
it
one of the first
yeah, I call it
independent nations
Ixtal. I have like
alone cannot sustain
still
the mortal
images.
population. You ever travel to Ixtal?
Yeah. Okay, compare that to like if I just go to my homepage, I think it's on here, I'll just play this one. That's fine.
I think the crown was created by the aspects given to the mortals to gift to Aurelian's soul.
That to like
and Aurelian
this.
soul just didn't realize.
This is like me talk.
Crafted with
the inscrutable. Oh, a gift for me? A golden crown sketched with the inscrutable patterns of the celestial realm by a fledgling civilization who
This is me
has
talking
no
about
idea
Aurelian
how
soul.
their own star was created?
What an idiot he was
Oh, just
putting
put
on
this
the
on my
crown.
head.
Something's wrong. You dare try to tame me?
You know, compare that, like what I did the first episode, to like me trying to do stuff like this. You're so jealous. Did you hear my voice at the beginning? My voice, my mic sucked. It just sucks. You know, you just have to like.
Certainly isn't my fault.
From the moment it touched Aurelian's soul's brow, he knew this was no gift at all. The accursed thing claimed.
Wait, you
to
like
his
that?
face
Laugh
with
out loud, digital. You want
unimaginable
something
force,
really
enough
funny?
that even he could not remove
Look at this
it,
one.
and he could feel his knowledge of the sun and its creation being
Here.
What would really stop them from?
So this is there's a rift that opens up, and Aurelian's soul is looking at the rift and the aspects of Targon. Remember that they put the crown on his head. Really, it was the aspects, and they're throwing him like a dog on a leash, whipping him around, telling him what to do. A rift opens up, a void rift opens up on Runeterra, and the old aspect of war, who's like a female pantheon, calls Aurelian's soul down and tells him, "Hey, destroy this void rift, dog." And so these like voidlings are coming out.
Is weakening, but she still commands Aurelian's soul to destroy that are coming out of
Yeah.
the void rift. But then Aurelian's soul realizes as he's burning away all of these void creatures,
Yeah, he's like
that are coming out
destroying
of the rift, that this attack's a little bit more coordinated. There's a little
all
bit
these
more
void creatures
orchestration behind it rather than just random scuttling
Peak
creatures.
JoJo
attacking
reference?
the
I love
void.
JoJo.
He actually
JoJo's
shudders
amazing.
at the thought of what kind of entity is capable of
He's like
producing
destroying
such a
these void
volatile
creatures.
rift. But he's more interested than afraid.
Yeah.
And he admires the marvelously terrifying manipulation of the barriers between realms. He says few beings could fathom its complexities, let alone possess the sheer magnitude of power needed to rend the fabric of existence. And when he looks into the pulsing epicenter of the corruption, he feels a will, hungry and indomitable. Far from the typical mindlessness that he's accustomed to from the void-born aberrations. The pulsating wood on reality yawns and buckles, distorting and warping all it touches.
Yeah.
Whatever exists on the other side is laughing.
This pisses him off.
And this pisses Aurelian's soul off, and he decides that he wishes to remind whatever intelligence that controls
This shows you how
void
powerful
incursion on
Aurelian's
the
soul
other
is, by the
side,
way.
that nobody laughs at him in his plane of existence. And that's important because in this plane of existence, Aurelian's soul is really the biggest threat to the void.
Yeah.
It's not us in Runeterra. Lysandra literally had to sacrifice everything just to freeze them in place for a moment because that ice is literally melting at this point. But the biggest threat to the void and what would really stop
You can see
them from
comparing that
being
to the
able
first video I
break into
showed you
our
guys,
God
my
and
first
destroy
video.
everything would be Aurelian's soul. And them laughing at him is probably the scariest part of the
I
whole
love
story.
this lore. I
But
love
Aurelian's
Aurelian's soul's
soul
lore.
does, his usual thing. He literally summons basically a tiny
Look at-
sun. He doesn't summon a full sun because he feels like if he summoned a full sun, that
It's like
would
a
literally
piece of his
destroy
power.
Runeterra, which he's right. So he summons kind of like basically a sun blast.
I was literally laughing while I was making this. And this old pantheon, the female pantheon, gets wiped away. I want to see the scar of this in the Riot MMO.
All those who behold this streaking comet that Aurelian's soul throws down at this void rift witness the ensuing supernova as an early dawn. And even
And then so I talk about like what they do in response, and the aspects are really bad and stuff like that. But But yeah,
that female incarnation.
That's just to show you, like, compare that to my first video. I'm telling you, if you wanna do YouTube, just accept that it's a long road. You ever hear about the tortoise and the hare, right? The hare is like a full out, just faster than the tortoise, and they say slow and steady wins the race. But what you have to remember is that it's not about like just being slow and steady. The tortoise is going all out the whole time. Like that tortoise is at a full out sprint, trying to catch up to the hare. And so when you're doing YouTube, there's gonna be people that just for some reason they're the hare. You know, they release like 2-3 videos and they blow up, and they for some reason just take off, and it's easy. For other people, you know, it takes a long time, but you have to be like investing everything into it, you know, like it really put full effort. Except that even if your video is only getting 10 to 100 views, except that think like, oh, my video is gonna get, I have to make this video as if it's gonna blow up and get like 1 million views. Like this could be the one. I mean, I worked so hard on this video, which is why after this video I did change strategy. I'm not gonna say I didn't. I worked so hard on this video, every known Darkins lore, and these two. Where's the other one? Before I started doing all this, where's my, oh, these two videos. These two videos took a ton of work. Like there's so much animation, so much like stuff that I had to do. These videos each took me like 30 days, like a month of working every single day on them. And look at this one, 697 views, 3K views. And you just have to keep trying stuff. Like even though stuff isn't working, you know, keep trying and finding ways. And you have to like really like it. Like I genuinely like talking about Runeterra lore. And so I'm going to keep trying to do it until I find a way and build a community where I can talk Runeterra all day. Because it's what I want to do. And so as long as you find that thing that you really want to do, and don't get baited into like, you know, what everyone else is doing. That's the main thing. Don't look at like someone else's channel who's talking about like freaking, you know, world news or something and be baited into that. Just do like what you like. Otherwise, you're not going to last, you know? Yeah, bro, in for the long run. Yeah. I'm 2K subs now. I'll keep working until I get 100K one day. Hope exactly. You just gotta keep going. We can't see it. Lamau, we can't see it. You guys couldn't see that? Oh, I had my, oh, here you go. I was talking about these two videos. These two videos each took me like a month to make. You can see like this was 4 months ago, and this one was 2 months ago, because like this one was 5 months ago. Like this one's 6 months. These videos each took me a month to make. We Lost, Ionia's Spirit Trees, Every Known Darken. Literally 1 month each of just working on it every single day. You know, you just keep trying, like keep trying different stuff. What do you think development launch mean for Wilder for Uzbekistan? He say, I think that's when he meant like when development started. I think that's he means like development launched in October 2025. He's not saying it's going to release or anything like that. He's just saying that they like that's when they started development. They probably envisioned the project sometime in early 2025 to late 2024, but then they officially like started hiring people and built out the team and said we're starting development October 2025. Like the team is built out and it's time to start work. That's what I think he meant by it. And Grove, no. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue with Demacia. I want to keep talking about Demacia. I'm going to give you the whole Demacia lore and what I think an Arcane Demacia show would look like. So now Demacia is a kingdom in turmoil. Following the sudden death of King Jarvan III, the other noble families have not yet approved the succession of his sole heir, young Prince Jarvan, to the throne. Some dare to whisper that the golden age of Demacia has passed, and unless its people are willing to adapt to a changing world, something many believe they are simply incapable of, the kingdom's decline may be inevitable, and all the patricide in the land will not protect Demacia from itself. This image is from the short story Turmoil, and you can see Demacia is not doing so great in present-day lore. Here's a look at how the Turmoil could unfold in an animated series grounded entirely in the rich, established lore of Demacia. Season 1, I think, would be The Gilded Cage. Like Arcane, the story must begin with a tight personal focus. The grand politics of Demacia are as a consequence of the secrets and lies within a single family, the Crown Guards. The season would be character-driven drama exploring the Gilded Cage of Demacia, For example, this is Tiana Crown Guard, who's actually Garen and Lux's aunt. This is her Legends of Runeterra card, and she says, "Our house is bled for this realm. You'll not throw away this family's honor for a few tricks of light." So she knows that Lux is a mage, and she's not too happy about it. She's telling her, "You'll not throw away like our legacy." And this is actually her husband. He's over here on the left. That's Lord Eldridge Crown Guard, who's actually the leader of the Mage Seekers. And I have a theory that he literally married her just to get into the Crown Guard family and for power. He said, "I couldn't help but overhear your fervent whispering, dear wife. I advise you to exercise more caution when discussing family members in so public a place. You can never be certain who might be listening." And I always feel like when someone says something like this, that's usually because, like, you know, if someone says other people are really nosy and you need to be careful of other people listening, that's because they're like that. So I feel like Lord Eldridge is probably like extremely nosy, listening, kind of evil, conniving. He's the leader of the Mage Seekers, which is a dangerous organization. We'll get into them if you don't know their lore. But his wife, he's referring to Tiana Crown Guard. So you kind of get like the other side of this scene. A family divided by duty and fear. The season would introduce a young Garen and Luxana Crown Guard. Garen is the perfect son of Demacia, inseparable from the friend Prince Jarvan IV, and committed to the ideals of the kingdom. So this is Jarvan. Garen, the might of Demacia, is a proud noble soldier, and he fights at the head of the Dauntless Vanguard. You have Lux, his sister, who is able to bend light to her will. She grew up dreading the discovery and exile. So she's like in this noble family. Think about it. Like how compelling would that be if Arcane sets you up? Think Vi, Jinx, all these characters started out very young. Echo, I loved seeing Echo as a kid and seeing where they come from and what made them like grow up to what they are today. And then imagine that with like Garen, Lux, and then King Jarvan III, or the fourth, who's like the king's only son. Prince Jarvan is heir apparent to the throne, and their love for Demacia, but at the same time, they kind of grapple with Demacia's politics and the Demacian way of thinking about mages and magic, because Lux obviously doesn't agree with it. She is a mage. But the Mage Seekers are literally imprisoning mages at this time, just throwing them in jail if you have even an ounce of magic. And we'll get into why and how that's possible and what the result is in a little bit. But just know that Demacia doesn't like mages. And so Garen, his sister being a mage, Lux being a mage herself, and King Jarvan IV is in love with a dragon. So all three of these characters probably don't agree with the direction Demacia is going in, and to see them kind of grow into that in the future from their childhood and see what events take place would be really cool. But beneath the stoic exterior lies a deeply buried trauma and denial concerning his sister. The story of the Soldier and the Hag gives us a crucial flashback to their childhood, revealing Garen's core conflict. When a memory-sealing crone probes his mind, she finds more than just love for his sister. I love this story, by the way. If you've never read it, The Soldier and the Hag, it'll make you love Garen. It really will. Garen's a beast. But he goes like to find this witch who's basically killing people and stealing their memories, and he confronts her. And he lets the witch take one memory of his in order to save one of his soldiers. And this is the witch is like feeling through his mind. She felt his intense love for her mixed with something else. She's finding his memories of Lux. He's saying, fear? Is it disgust? Discomfort? Upset? And then like it flashes forward. We're going to skip forward a little bit to the memory that she's actually digging into now. So she's starting to feel like this weird kind of emotions about Lux. And then she finds this memory. Upset, the girl shouts, and suddenly there is light shooting from her fingertips, and he is blinded and confused and frightened. She is taken away by their mother, but before their mother leaves the room, she kneels and tells the boy that he didn't see what he thought he saw. It wasn't real, just a game. The boy, his mouth agape, nods. Just a game. His sister is not a mage. She couldn't be. He pushes the memory as deep as it could go. This singular event defines their relationship. Garen's life becomes an exercise in willful ignorance, his gnawing suspicion from his biography alone, clashing with his desperate need to protect his sister and his family's honor. Like Garen's lives to serve Demacia. He loves Demacia. He's even seen imprisoning mages a lot of times, like sending them to jail. And yet his sister is a mage, and he has to grapple with this fact. Do you think the Demacia's story with Garen and Lux are in the same time frame as Vi and Jinx come up? Yeah, I do think so. So I think that it would start at the same time. So Piltover and Zon, you start with them as kids, and during that time, we know. So timeline, a little bit on timeline. Ambessa over here goes to Kumangra and takes over Kumangra from an Ionian village. This is all while Mel is still a child, before the events of Piltover and Zon. She goes to Kumangra, gets the Vastaya, she heads to Balzun, Tereshni. Rockrun is where the Medarda home is. She eventually gets up to Noxus and presents the Vastaya that she found in Kumangra to Borum Darkwill, and that's their way into Noxus. And then she realizes that Mel's in danger, and she sends Mel to Piltover and Zon to almost push her away, because Ambessa starts realizing that the Black Rose is a big deal, and they've actually killed her husband and her son. Well, they haven't killed her son yet, but her children. She's worried for her children, and that they're threatening. Like, she feels like they're closing in around her son. So she sends Mel to Piltover and Zon to almost make it look like she has nothing to do with them. Like, oh, Mel means nothing to me. Don't pay her any mind. Then we have the Noxus Ionian War. That happens during like either it happens between season 1 and season 2 during the time skip, or it happens before Arcane starts. You can't tell. I can't tell 100% when that happens, but sometime during Arcane season 1 or season 2, either during the time skip of Arcane season 1, season 2, during Arcane season 1, or right before Arcane, there's the Noxian Ionian War. Then Arcane season 1 happens, and Vi and all of them are kids. And I think at that same time, Garen, Lux, and King Jarvan IV would all be kids here. Xin Zhao, all of them. The reason I think that is because King Jarvan IV is the one. King Jarvan III and King Jarvan IV, Xin Zhao serves under both of them. And we know that King Jarvan IV is the one who sends Xin Zhao over to Ionia. So that lines up. So that makes sense that, like, okay, if Xin Zhao is alive currently in the present day lore, that means Garen, Lux, and King Jarvan IV are all adults, and King Jarvan III already died. That means the Demacian Noxian War already happened. You know what, guys? This got so complicated, me explaining the timeline, that I think I need an article. So I'm going to do an article for the complete timeline of Runeterra, from the beginning all the way through the events of Arcane, all the way to like Demacia present day, and then I'll do like a future speculation. So we'll go up to like present day according to the lore with Xin Zhao and Ionia and where Demacia is at. But I think if you knew the lore ahead of me talking, you understood what I was saying. But that already happened too, the Noxian Ionian War. Then there'll be a time skip so we'll start with them as kids around the same time as over here with Vi and Jinx's kids. And then the time skip will happen after like, after you establish the ground rules of like the mage seekers and all this. The time skip will happen, and that's when you'll see what's coming up, which is King Jarvan IV's dad being killed and stuff like that. Would be cool if the news of Victor and the glorious evolution reaches Demacia, and that catalyst for the story going forward. Maybe the persecution of mages itself becomes of it, perhaps. I feel like they could definitely have Piltover and Zon tie in to Demacia. Jinx, we know, is floating around. Jinx, we know, is alive. She could very well end up in Demacia. It's possible. One thing that I will say about the thing that would tie most into Demacia is the Arcane waking up. LeBlanc says all the time, like, the Arcane is waking up. And we know Demacia, not big fans of magic. So I feel like that would be a big pull for them. All right, let's get back to the article. So at this point, we've already had the time skip. They're adults now, so we're through season 1. This is now season 2. So like we've established Demacia, the framework, the characters. You're grounded in Demacia. You understand what Demacia is about. I would say like the beginning story maybe season 1 deals with more with Tiana, Lux and Garen's parents, their uncle dying to a mage, Lord Eldred Crown Guard. Like, it'll deal more with these characters adults, and Lux and Garen are children, as well as Jarvan. It'll deal with Jarvan III too. So King Jarvan IV's dad. So now this is a comic showing Garen and Lux riding, and she says, and if they are, what do we send them to the hinterlands? Because a lot of times they'll just exile mages to the hinterlands. If they'll either exile them to the hinterlands or literally imprison them. And Garen's like, it's for the best. They won't hurt anyone there. She says, they're not hurting anyone here, unless someone tries to chase them down in the street. Do you ever think maybe our laws make things worse? Because Garen literally just chased down a mage in the street and sent her to jail. Garen's like, hold your tongue. Without those laws, this great civilization would fall. Do you want to risk another rune war? Literally referencing the rune wars there. Remember, Demacia was built after the rune wars as like a safe haven from magic. Really was a safe haven from the rune wars, and mages helped build Demacia, but it's been twisted over time for people to believe that the rune wars was solely caused by magic itself and that magic in itself is evil. She says that was 1,000 years ago. Okay, what about Silas of Dregborn? Is that mass murder recent enough? That's why we must keep mages and all magic out of this kingdom. It is the only way to keep us secure. And I'll talk about Silas soon. But she says, yeah, secure. So you can see she's already compelling, like dealing with that emotion of her being a mage and her brother freaking hating mages. Oh, and man, Demacia has such cool visuals. It really does. I love Demacia. It's a pretty city. Meanwhile, Lux lives in constant terror. Her story, Flesh and Stone, shows her running from her classroom after an accidental burst of magic, sobbing in the woods, and she thinks of the consequences. Then everyone would know she was afflicted with magic. Then when the Annullers would come. Her story is one of isolation, fearing the very brother she idolizes. So stay calm. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he's never seen it. Just keep breathing in, out, in, out. It's getting harder to control again. The old tricks aren't working. Only a matter of time before I'm being chased down in the street. I need help, someone to teach me or some way to learn more about. And then she ends up like asking for the book that Garen confiscated. The Catalyst in Chains. The fragile balance is shattered by Silas of Dregborn. As a young mage with the ability to sense magic, he was used by the Mage Seeker before being imprisoned for life. After 15 years in the dark, as his biography recounts, he receives a visitor, Lux. And I don't think you get introduced to Silas as a kid. You never see him as a child until you meet him as an adult. So I think you'd get this scene in like season 2 of Lux meeting Silas. And, she talks to Silas and Silas realizes that she's a mage. And he's like saying like, I'll teach you how to control it and whatnot. The secret meetings are the season's turning point for Lux. Silas is a teacher, someone who can explain the power she's been forced to hide. For Silas, Lux is the key. He sees in her not just a powerful mage, but a source of magic he can use. He manipulates her into bringing him a forbidden tome on Petricite, from which he learns the stone's greatest secret, revealed in Duran's own research notes. I believe magic is not simply destroyed by Petricite, it simply changes ownership. Petricite soaks up magic, and this stored magic can be extracted and perhaps even reused. Guys, that's massive. That's massive for Demacia. That means all of Demacia has just been freaking soaking up magic. Can you imagine if Noxus learns that Petricite absorbs magic for it to later be reused? Demacia now goes from like this city protected by white stone, magic dampening effects, to literally a time bomb. We see in Mage Seeker a building does explode. They use the magic to like build up all this power within the building and then it explodes. So Demacia could just be like a bomb waiting to happen, honestly. Every single wall, every single pillar, every single Petricite object has just been absorbing magic for how long? Wonder if Sona could fit into the story somehow. Isn't she a Demacian? Well, she is Demacian. There's so much story in Demacia. There's so much story, guys, in all these zones. Like Piltover and Zaun, I said it before. Let me switch to the map really quick. Piltover and Zaun had some of the weakest lore in all of Runeterra, and they couldn't even get through a part of the characters. Like, look how many characters there are for Piltover and Zaun. Here's Piltover. I mean, how many characters did we actually get through for Piltover and Zaun? Given that Piltover and Zaun has a pretty large character list because there's so many. For Piltover, we covered Caitlyn. You could say that Camille had an appearance, but she wasn't featured. Heimerdinger, Jace, Vi, and very, very slightly Oriana. So Seraphine, Ezreal, Camille, weren't in there. So I would say half the characters in Piltover, and for Zaun even less than that. No, Echo, yes. Jaina, I don't count the mural. Okay, it was just a mural of her, so that doesn't count. Echo, Jinx, Victor, Singed. Twitch, you could say, was the rat, but that's also, I wouldn't count it. Warwick. That's it. Every single other character didn't make the cut. And the show still felt rushed at the end of Arcane Season 2. I'll say, like, I'm real with you guys. The show, I felt like you could have used another season. It really could have. We missed a lot with Echo and Jinx in that Arcane Season 2 of them interacting and coming. Like, I feel like it just, Echo came back, and then we missed, like, there was like a time skip there that we could have seen Echo and Jinx kind of talk through a lot of stuff. Well, yeah. So when we're talking about Demacia, really looking at the story and the central characters to that story, I don't know if there's as many characters here as Piltover and Zaun combined. I don't know if Sona is central enough that she needs time in the spotlight, and I wouldn't want to take away from other characters like Garen, Jarvan IV, Fiora, Morgana, and Kayle. I feel like would also be above Sona. Lucian, if you want to talk Sentinels of Light. Xin Zhao needs some time. Vayne, Sylas is going to be a big character. Shyvana, if you want to explore that relationship with King Jarvan IV. It's like there's so much story there that I don't know if Sona could make the cut. Hi, how's your day? Yo, good. This is my favorite part of my day, is talking lore in the mornings with everyone. Honestly, pretty respectful amount of characters, right? Yeah, Demacia is massive. I mean, you want to see a respectful amount of characters. Freaking Ionia, I think, has the most characters. Look at this. Look how many characters are tied to Ionia. Insane. Yep. Where's my news slash story? There we go. So at this point, Lux is meeting Sylas in secret, right? And Sylas learns that Petricite absorbs magic. It doesn't dampen magic. It literally absorbs it. He says, fascinating, this man Durand. What about him? Lux is practicing her magic over here. Sylas has a bunch of books. He perfected Petricite, the very substance that shackles me, suppressing my magic. I should hate him, but I respect him. Still, this book, it doesn't tell enough. I need to know more. If you could find Durand's original text, perhaps we could find real answers. I'm sorry, Sylas. They keep those texts in a vault under strict lock and key. There's no way I could get access. Damn them. I'm sorry. You saw that. I know it's not your fault. Eventually, she does get she like sneaks in and get the text for Sylas, and that's how he learns of it. But the problem with that is that the Crown Guard family learns of Lux's secret meetings. It says, creak and then secure the doors. Lux, I may not be your mother, but I'll be damned if I'll watch you drag our family's name through the muck. Aunt Tiana, I was with the Illuminators. We were... Oh, save it. We know you left Prince Jarvan waiting so you could sneak off to the prison to visit some lowlife. It's not like that. You don't know him, Garen. Who, Sylas of Dregborn?